Hello, my name is Jackson Kilgore,
And I'm Jacob Kane.
and this is the NextUp Leaders Podcast.
Today our guest is the superintendent of Walker County Schools, Dr. Dennis Willingham.
My name's Jackson Kilgore,
I'm Jacob Kane.
and this is the NextUp Leaders Podcast.
Hey, Dr. Willingham, how you doing?
Hey, man, I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, we're pretty good. How's your day been so far?
I've had a busy day, but it's been good. Busy's
Yeah.
not always bad. Sometimes
No,
busy's
it's not.
good, so it's been a good day today.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Anything crazy?
No, nothing too crazy. No, not yet. But
Not
the
yet.
day is young.
This
Yeah.
is the craziest thing that will happen today.
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
huh?
You want to talk?
You got it.
All right. So, Doctor, what advice would you give to teenagers who are trying to decide what career path to take?
Well, the first advice I'd give to teenagers is enjoy the ride. I mean, you only have high school once, and you want the only regret I have from my high school years is not being more involved. I wish I would have been involved in everything, and I wasn't. I had a good time, had a good teenage years, but as a former teacher and coach in a high school, I always tried to advise my students to enjoy themselves and to be a part of everything, because once you graduate, it's gone. You can't go back and get it. It's gone. So my advice is just to be involved in everything you can be involved in, every extracurricular activity you can be involved in. If you're not involved in an extracurricular activity, go support it, and just enjoy the friendships that you make. I still see people that I graduated high school with. How many ever years ago, decades ago, I still see them out, and just those friendships you develop, you never lose those friendships. So be involved, cherish those friendships, and just enjoy it, man. You've got the rest of your life to worry about your career. You do need to have a vision, and you do need to have some sort of idea of what your interests are. And, statistics tell us that changes a lot. Mine did as to what I wanted to do. But once I, entered the field of education, once I decided to enter the field of education, I knew that was God's path for me. And I knew, 33 years now into education, I've never had a job I didn't like. And I've loved every year I've worked in education. So I absolutely know that I did what God had intended for me to do. So, that's a big part of it too, is, I'm a man of faith, so I like to talk about faith. And I know that God has a plan for all of us, regardless of what you believe or don't believe. God has a plan for you. And sometimes we get in the way of that plan, or we get off that path. But he's such a good God that if we do seek Him, then He does lead us where we need to be, and hopefully that gives us peace and joy, and you can't get any better than that.
Yeah. So, what skills do you believe will be most valuable to people who are entering the work field just now, just teenagers?
Hey, that's a great question, and I go around and I talk to people in business and industry, because that's the end result for you guys is your career, and so I want to know, they want a certain product, and we're developing that product, so I want to know what we can do to develop that product for them. So what they're telling me that they want from you guys is they want folks that's going to show up, be on time, have a great work ethic, and also have some soft skills. Have a good personality, be able to get along with people. And they tell me, you know what, if they've got those things, we can train them to do a job. They don't have to come in here knowing how to do a job or a career, but we do want them to show up on time. We want them to show up, and we want to have a good work ethic, and we want them to have a good personality too.
So, Doctor, how do you think students can balance their education while also exploring extracurricular activities or hobbies that might not directly relate to the school?
Well, I advise for people, as I said to begin with, you need to be active, you need to be busy, you need to be involved. So I advise for a young person, a teenager, I advise for you to be busy. You can balance every bit of that, and actually that's going to make you more complete if you are involved in extracurricular activities, if you are involved in hobbies, as you just mentioned. I'm glad you mentioned that. People need hobbies. And, the F words that we're supposed to use are faith and family. And your faith should come first, and then your family should come second, and then everything else falls into place. So have a good balance on what you do, and for me, I advise faith first, family, and then everything else. And if you're very active, if you're busy, that keeps your juices flowing. It keeps you focused. It keeps you out of trouble. And I know how that is. As a teenager, I was a teenager many, many years ago. So I know there's a lot of trouble out there for you guys to get into. But if you're busy and you're involved, that's going to help keep you out of trouble. So there's definitely a place there for hobbies, for extracurricular, and for your academics as well.
Mm-hmm. So, in your opinion, what's the most important things students should focus on in high school?
The most important things students should focus on in high school. Well, as an educator, we're supposed to say academics is most important. Mm-hmm. I don't know that that's most important. I know that academics should be up at the top of your list. But once again, from the question Jack just asked me, I think that it is, I just don't think you can say academics. I think that it's a combo. I think that you have to combine everything together. So the most important thing, again, I'll revert back to what I said to Jack's question, is the most important thing is being involved. Mm-hmm. And being active and building a good network of people to be around, mm-hmm. that you enjoy being around. And I think that's what makes you happy.
Okay.
So what advice do you have for students who are struggling in school or emotionally? What advice would you give them?
Well, again, a man of faith, that's what I've always fallen back on. And, I'm proactive. I had a former teacher of mine that I actually was blessed to work with my first year as a teacher. And the advice she gave me, she said, Dennis, you need to start every day out on your knees praying. And for 33 years, I've done that. Now, I'll miss a day or two here or there, but not many. And so I'm proactive. I start out with prayer every day, praying for you guys, praying for the school system, praying for a lot of things. But I think for somebody to stay where they need to be mentally, and a lot of people deal with a lot of difficulties that we don't understand. So for people to be where they need to be mentally and emotionally, I think they need to be grounded. And I think that they need to find things that keep them occupied, and I think that they need to find things that bring them peace. Because like I said earlier, peace and joy, those are two things that you can't put a price tag on. You can't buy it, but you can certainly obtain it no matter who you are.
So what qualities do you think make for a good leader?
Oh boy, I'm gonna steal from Nick Saban. Whether you like him or you don't, you got to give him. You got to tip your hat and say, man, that guy, he's pretty darn good at what he does. Mm-hmm. So Nick Saban says the key to success is relationships, and I believe that. Mm-hmm. I believe that relationships, and I'm not just talking about your career. Relationships that I built as a teenager, all the way through as a young adult and into my adulthood, they keep coming back. They're reciprocal. They give and they take, and it's all good, and they're cyclical because they come in cycles. So the relationships that you build at a young age are going to help you years on down the line. So to be successful, you need to build relationships with people. And I'm not just talking about success in a career. I'm talking about success in your life, in having people that you can count on, people that you can rely on, people that are going to help you, not just in your career, but with your family and with your goals and with everything that you do in your life. So I guess my answer, who asked me that? You,
Ms.
Jake?
Lee.
Okay. I guess my answer to that question is to build those relationships. Because, you want to gravitate, people want to gravitate to somebody that's positive. I like to be around people that are positive. So if you can build a relationship based on who you are and that you're a positive person, you're going to have a good life going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you stay motivated with during your work-life balance? How do you stay motivated during the workday?
Man, I tell you, I love going to work. I do. I love my job. I always have, as I told you, for 33 years. I've loved teaching and coaching and being an assistant principal and a principal, and now, and then I went to the central office for several years as a supervisor, and now I'm superintendent, and I just love what I do. And I've got a great family. I got a wife that I'm in love with my wife, and we've been married for over 25 years. And I look forward to going home. So I look forward to going to work, and I look forward to going home. And then I'm blessed with two children who are young adults now. And man, just love spending time with them. We just love spending time together. So just having that positive life, at home, and having that positive life at work, and once again, everything reverts back to faith, and that's just blessings from God. That's all that is. That's all it is. It's just God blessing somebody who doesn't deserve to be blessed like me, but blessing us anyway. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, it's good.
So, how important do you think it is for young people to take risks and step out of their comfort zone when it comes to growth?
It is very important. Y'all are asking some good questions, guys. I like this. Thank you. So it's very important for young people to take risks. And when you take those risks, you're gonna fall on your face every once in a while. You may have some bruises on your face, might knock a tooth out, but and people are gonna laugh, and that's gonna happen. Man, that's happened to me all my life. But that's how you become successful. Mm-hmm. Is you take those risks, you have those failures, you're gonna have them. You have those failures, and you learn from them. You don't just lay down and give up. You learn from those failures. You learn from where you fall and hurt yourself, and then you get up, and it makes you a stronger, better person. So definitely take those risks, reach out there. That's how you learn and grow. I mean, you've heard the story about the butterfly coming out of the cocoon. The butterfly's got to fight and struggle and eventually be successful. If not, you don't have a butterfly. So you've got to do those things.
So what would you say is the hardest challenge you faced growing up, and how did you overcome it?
So growing up, I was a statistic. I was a free and reduced student, so I ate reduced lunches. My family, we didn't have a whole lot of money. I had 4 older brothers. There's 5 boys. I've had 4 older brothers. Had a wonderful parents. So didn't have a whole lot coming up. Had enough, and it was good. But I realized when I was your guys' age, I said, you know what? I want to go to college, but my family can't afford to send me to college. So I'm going to join the Army. My dad was a disabled veteran. And I said, I'm going to join the Army so I can go to college. And I went and talked to a recruiter. And the recruiter, I was telling him about my dad, and he said, wait just a minute, did you say your dad's a disabled veteran? And I said, yes, sir, my dad's a disabled veteran. And he said, well, you get to go to college free. And so I said, that made me reevaluate. Wow, well, I don't have to do anything. I can just go to college free because my dad's a disabled veteran. So that was my path. And,
Okay, we're going.
Thank you, Dr. Willingham, for coming. I got to leave.
We're going to have to pause for just
I got football
just a minute here.
Got you.
So, Dr. Willingham, what's one of the hardest challenges you faced growing up?
So, growing up, I was the baby of 5 boys, and we didn't have a whole lot growing up. We had enough, had a great family, great mom and dad, great older brothers. But I ate reduced lunch, so I was a free and reduced lunch student. And, my folks couldn't afford to send me to college. Mm-hmm. So when I was in high school, the Army recruiter came around, and I went and talked to him, and I was talking to him about my dad, and told him my dad was a disabled veteran. He was in the 82nd Airborne. You jump out of planes and all that good stuff, and told him that I, wanted to join the Army so that I could go to college. Otherwise, my parents could not have sent me to college. And he, kind of stopped and said, well, did you say your dad was a disabled veteran? And I said, yes, sir, my dad was a disabled veteran. And he said, well, you get to go to college free. So, I had some thinking to do, and I thought, well, the Army's not my path, although I've always recommended the armed forces to young people because it is a great career. It just wasn't a career. It just wasn't in my path to do that. Mm-hmm. So I got to go to college free. I got 4 years of college free, and that was such a blessing to me. That's one of the things that has driven me to push so hard for free dual enrollment for high school students today. Mm-hmm. And so that, since I've been superintendent, we've grown that. So we offer free college courses. We let you guys get a head start starting in 10th grade. Mm-hmm. And we offer free college courses to all of our students who are, have the grades and have the ability to take college classes. And right now we're up to around 400 students right now in the Walker County school system who are taking free college courses. Mm-hmm. So by having a struggle growing up when I was your age, now that has really given me a drive and a passion for y'all so that we can get your college paid for while you're a part of us. And then hopefully that'll get you a head start into 2 years of college, and then you can go on beyond that.
Yeah. So how do you think teenagers and young adults can start making a positive impact in their community and just really get involved with their community?
That's a great question, Jake. And, I think of one word, and that word is serve. Find a way to serve. And I'm telling you, when you serve others, that is the healthiest thing you can do. So people who deal with emotional issues and maybe mental health issues, if they'll get out and serve and find a way to serve, and a lot of that's done through churches and other organizations, find a way to serve other people. And if you're, and of course clubs in school, and that's why I talk about be involved in your school, because when you're involved in these clubs and activities, you are serving. So the greatest thing that a young person can do, whether it be a teenager or young adult, is to get out and serve others.
So what role do you think they play in shaping the future of education and like the future of their community and stuff like that?
Well, y'all are our future. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't sit and scratch their head and think about that, but they need to. They need to realize that you guys, how old are you, Jake?
15.
15. Okay. So you're 15, so in 5 years you're going to be 20. Mm-hmm. And you are going to be contributing to society greatly. Mm-hmm. And that's either going to be positive or negative. So, and that goes for every student at Cordova High School. You're going to be contributing to our society, and it's either going to be in a positive way or a negative way. Mm-hmm. So our job is to prepare you guys, teach all the right things the right way, so that you can be contributing to society in a positive way. Because you guys are going to have to take care of us old folks when we get a little bit older, mm-hmm. and you're going to have to take care of our grandkids as they grow up and come through school. So we're counting on you guys. Mm-hmm. So just know that you guys are the future, and that you guys are going to be the ones that run the world. Mm-hmm. And when I say that, maybe somebody in Cordova, Alabama says, well, other people run the world. No, you guys can run the world. And a great example is Greg Reed, who just took a position right under Governor Ivey. He graduated from Cordova High School. Mm-hmm. And when he was the Senate Pro Tem, he was the second most powerful person politically in the state of Alabama. It was the governor and then Greg Reed. Mm-hmm. And he's a Cordova High graduate. Yeah. So you talk about having a powerful impact on the world. You guys, y'all are our future, and we don't need to take that for granted.
Yep. So what's one thing you would like the students to know about the current challenges facing schools and communities today?
the current challenge facing schools and communities today, I'm going to revert back. I was an elementary school principal for 10 years, so I'm going to revert back to the onset of education. I'm going to revert back to pre-K and kindergarten, because when I was an elementary principal, and that was about 15 years ago, we had just a small number of kindergarten kids entering our school who could not count to 10, who could not say their ABCs, who could not do the basics, tie their shoes. Now it's almost flipped in 15 years. Mm-hmm. Now it's almost like over half of the kids coming in can't count to 10, can't say their ABCs, can't tie their shoes, can't do those basic things that they need to do to move forward. So that kind of bogs down everything else. Mm-hmm. So instead of kids coming in ready to be educated from the home, our teachers have to revert back to teach those basic concepts and skills, and that kind of backs everything up. Mm-hmm. So we really need an education. We really need our parents and guardians and grandparents teaching our kids the basics and having them ready when they step in the schoolhouse door, so that we can take them and move them forward faster. Mm-hmm. And that's going to help us all the way through elementary, middle school, high school, and beyond.
Mm-hmm. So, what advice would you give to a high school student who feels overwhelmed by pressure from peers or family to figure out their life plan?
Let me tell you something. Joe Q Public doesn't realize how many students we have that are affected with emotional issues, with mental health issues, and a lot of that comes from the home. Mm-hmm. Because they don't have solid upbringing. They don't have people at home who compliment them and tell them how wonderful they are and how much they love them. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, the only time that these kids get that is when they come into school. So that's another issue that this day and time and generation that we're dealing with that we used to not deal with 20 years ago as much. So to students out there who feel that, what was the question? They feel?
It was they feel pressure from peers or family.
Pressure from peers or family. Just know that God loves you. Just know that people in the schools, we have so many wonderful employees, from custodians to bus drivers to lunchroom workers to secretaries to nurses, and then teachers and administrators. There's people in the schools that love you, and they care for you. And so don't feel isolated to the point that you feel like you're alone and that nobody understands you and that you're by yourself. You need to talk to somebody. Mm-hmm. We've got mental health therapists in every school community that we provide. We've got counselors. So we've got coaches, we've got teachers, we've got people who want you to reach out to them and let them know that you're hurting, that you're struggling, but just know this, that there is help. And we have so many more success stories than we do stories that go the other way. Mm-hmm. So that's why we're here. We're here to serve children, and we're here to take care of our children.
Yeah. How do you think young adults can stay resilient and focused when they face setbacks or obstacles in life?
Yeah, resiliency. Resiliency is something that is inside everybody, and it's just being able to tap into that. And a lot of people don't know they have that resiliency within them, mm-hmm. that they have that strength in them. And so, and I think that's our job. I think that's our job, to teach kids and to teach teenagers that there's more inside them than they realize, mm-hmm. And that there's strength there. And we just need to help them realize that they have strength. Just hey, hang on. You're going to have bad cloudy days, but the sun's going to come out too, mm-hmm. and things are going to be great.
Yeah. So if you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
One piece of advice to my younger self. Well, my younger self, I don't have regrets, and I talk to people about that. I talk to my own kids about that. I said, don't ever look back and say you regret something, because you are where you are and you are who you are because of everything you've experienced. So I don't have regrets. I have made a lot of mistakes. So, I wish I could go back and correct some of those mistakes I made. But I guess the best answer to that, especially dealing with education, is just to be more involved, just to be more involved in the school and in the community. I'm blessed to say I was always involved in church. I didn't have a choice growing up with my parents, and I'm so thankful for that. I was always involved in church, still am. But as far as just being involved in the community, serving more in school.
Mm-hmm. So if you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice to carry them into adulthood, what would it be?
So one piece of advice, all right? My advice to you would be to find out what interests you. And you don't have to necessarily pick your career path right now, but you do need to figure out what interests you, because that will determine your career path. Mm-hmm. And once again, being a man of faith, I have to talk about it. I just say you have to seek God, and you have to be in a daily relationship with God, just to stay grounded and to have that focus and to have that vision that He wants you to have.
Mm-hmm. So looking back on your own journey, what's something you wish you knew when you were my age?
Something I wish I knew when I was your age. I guess just to know that no matter how bad things get, they're going to get better, mm-hmm. That there's hope, yeah. And that, and I knew this, but just to even know it and believe it more is just to know that God is in control.
Mm-hmm. So what's one thing you hope today's youth will accomplish in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, it touches my heart and breaks my heart to see our youth struggle with a lot of the issues they have. And I blame that on adults. I don't blame that on youth. Mm-hmm. I've told people all throughout my career that kids are never the problem. But we don't have kids who are problems. Adults are the problem, whether that be at home neglecting kids, or the way they treat kids, or the way they act when a kid gets in trouble. They empower that kid. They enable that kid to continue to misbehave and act up. So it's not the kids that are the problem. It's really the adults. Mm-hmm. But moving forward, so what I could tell kids. Ask me that question again. I want to make sure I answer it correctly.
Looking back on your own journey, what's something you wish you knew? No, my bad.
It's the next one.
Yeah. What's one thing you hope today's youth will accomplish in the next 5 to 10 years?
That's it. What's one thing that the youth will accomplish? I want to see better emotional stability from our youth, better mental health from our youth, more confidence from our youth. I want to see a better work ethic from our youth. And I want to see our youth just enjoying themselves and their friends, and just having peace and joy. I keep saying those words, but I want our youth to have peace in their heart, peace in their head, and joy in their life. That's what I want to see in the next 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm. What message would you like to share with young people about the importance of perseverance and staying true to themselves?
Yeah, you got to do that. You got to persevere, and you got to have self-confidence to stay true to yourself. A lot of folks are not going to believe in you, but you have to believe in yourself, and you have to have that perseverance to overcome the obstacles and the failures that are going to happen in your life, and you've got to have that perseverance to overcome those. So have that perseverance. When you get knocked down, get back up, and just know that the sun's going to rise, and things are going to get better.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to say to inspire young people as they navigate their own paths?
Enjoy your youth. Quote from Scripture: "Rejoice in thy youth, O young man." Again, I say rejoice. enjoy your youth. You only get it once. You only get this ride one time.
Yeah.
So just enjoy it. Take it all in. Don't do things that's going to harm your body. Don't do things that's going to harm others, and don't do things that's going to harm yourself, because those are things you will regret. So don't do those things. Be a positive light for others. Be a positive light for yourself, and enjoy it, man. You should. We should, as adults, we should be able to provide opportunities for our young people to really enjoy their life.
Mm-hmm. So, you stepping away from all of your advice, you play softball.
I do play softball.
Would you say that's something that not a lot of people know?
Yeah, probably a lot of people don't know that. Softball's been good to me. I've played softball since I was a teenager, and I've probably played in about half the states in the nation. I've traveled around. I've been very blessed to be on some very good teams, win some very big tournaments, and yeah, man, just meet a lot of great people and travel around. I've played. I played in Las Vegas, Nevada. I played in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, at the where the girls play the World Series, College World Series every year. I've been able to play in that stadium, and in Texas, and up north in Indiana and Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, and down south in Florida, way down south. I played at Disney. In that stadium there at Disney. So yeah, man, it's been great. It really has, and I've met a lot of great people, and had a lot of great experiences.
Yeah, I'd have to say I did not know that about you until the other day. Mr. Aaron was telling me you need to ask him something about the softball.
Yeah,
and I was like, why? Because I had no idea, and I was like, really? That really? Because I had no idea that you played softball.
Well, I do, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's some more advice is, I work out with weights a couple of mornings a week. I usually get up and go work out pretty early in the morning, and then I'm able to, go home, get ready, and go to work. But I do that on a regular basis, and I think exercise is the greatest stress reliever you can have. Mm-hmm. So just working out. I still play full court basketball a lot. And just trying to stay in shape and stay healthy, and once again, just playing softball, traveling around, doing that, just having a good time.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've about got to the end, and I don't know if you've watched one of our episodes, but at the end of every podcast, we do this thing. It's called the Cheese Quiz.
I did not even know y'all had a podcast, so I'm
Really?
learning. Yeah,
Really?
This is great. I'm glad. I'm glad I found this out. Yeah.
So at the end of every episode, we have something called the Cheese Quiz.
Okay.
And you got to name as many cheeses as you can in 30 seconds.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I'm gonna do very good at this.
Our number one guess is 8.
8?
Yeah, we've had 4. Now it's 8. He got 8. So Coach Maynor, our football coach, he got 8, and then our first guest, Grant Nichols.
Oh yeah.
Grant Nichols, he got 8 as well, and then
Yeah.
Mr. Harrison got 6, and Doe got 6, the mayor.
Wow. I don't even know if I can get 6. I'll try. I don't know.
I'm gonna pull up.
That's some pretty stiff competition. That's some pretty tough names you just mentioned there.
Yeah, they're. I thought we would have more, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, but I guess when you get put on the spot, it's a little bit harder.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, all right.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, ready?
30 seconds. All right, so let's go with Swiss, provolone, cheddar, American. Is it Gouda?
Gouda, yeah.
Gouda. All right, that's 5. Oh boy. That may be all I can think of. Let me see if I can think of one more. I'm just coming up blank, man.
Yeah, that's what happened. Everybody gets them.
I'm just coming up blank.
That's it.
I got 5.
Yeah, everybody.
Tell me an
names
easy
them
one I
off.
should have come up with that I forgot.
Colby Jack, Pepper Jack,
Oh,
Parmesan.
yeah, I love those. Parmesan, yes.
American. Did you say American?
I said American, yeah.
You said American?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for watching the NextUp Leaders Podcast, and thank you to Dr. Willingham for coming out.
Thanks, Jake.